So you came on Sunday, heard a good sermon, sure seemed like you really were learning, but that was days ago. And since that time, you've watched a lot of shows, heard a lot of news, read a lot of photo captions, maybe a book or two. You got the information overload blues, made you forget the good news, need to remember the good news. So let's check up, pull up a chair for the midweek checkup now.
Welcome to the Midweek Checkup. My name is Gilles, and I'm joined by Lindsey, Blair. This past Sunday, Pastor Travis McGowen preached from 1 Kings chapter 12, verses 1 through 16.
And Travis said that human foolishness takes a divine path. If you missed the sermon or you need help remembering, you're in the right place because it's time for the Midweek Checkup.
Travis began by saying that this text shows us three ways that human foolishness takes a divine path. The first is that the path begins with human pride. Solomon is a primary example of this. He was humble in the beginning, but over time, he offered up sacrifices to the gods of his wives, including the god of his Ammonite wife, which was Molech. When his son Rehoboam took over, he rejected the biblically based counsel of his older advisors to tell his subjects in the northern tribes that he would be even more harsh with them than Solomon was. This passage indicates that pride demonstrated itself by a refusal to hear wisdom and a refusal to serve other people. Pride keeps us from receiving from others and giving to others.
The second way in which human foolishness takes a divine path is that the path is often a family affair. In the division between Rehoboam and the northern kingdoms, we see a generational divide, a political divide, and also the inflammation of an old tribal tension within Israel, the family of God. Years of familial tension and bitterness. Let us hear the warning from this passage and our own history as a church. If we harbor political or generational bitterness, then we will be a fractured people. We won't pass this church onto our children and grandchildren if we harbor resentment.
The third way in which human foolishness takes a divine path is that this path is guided by the hand of God. Verse 15 tells us, "So the king did not listen to the people, for this turn of events was from the Lord, to fulfill the word of the Lord that had been spoken to Jeroboam, son of Nebat, through Ahijah the Shilonite." But this wasn't apparent beforehand. The Lord acts in his own time and in his own way. And often, people like you and I can see his hand at work.
That should not surprise us as Christians. The central act of God in human history, the life, death, and resurrection of the Son of God, wasn't something that anyone saw coming. Was his death on the cross an act of human pride, foolishness, and rebellion? Yes. Did they see it coming? No. Were these events part of the plan of God? Yes and amen.
This Sunday, we will continue our series on the fall of the house of David, and in Bible Fellowship, we'll discuss James chapter 3. So join us and bring a friend.